I'd like to ask Alex Kontos, the president of our parish council, to come forward. He's going to talk to us just briefly about this theme of stewardship that we've been developing this month, and that will conclude next week with Stewardship Sunday.
Just recently, we established a stewardship ministry as one of our church ministries. And the chairman of this stewardship ministry is the president of the parish council. So that happens to me, and so be me. And so I am the chairman, and I'm supposed to give a little talk to you. It's my responsibility, and I helped form this stewardship ministry. I should have known better, because I said, I'm going to have to get up here and say something to you people. So in order to be able to say something about stewardship, I have to know what stewardship is. So like any 11-year-old middle school kid, I did what all of them do. I Googled it, and I wanted to get what the definition of stewardship is. So as a noun, it is the job of supervising or taking care of something, such as an organization or property. Well, as an organization, we have property. The Bible's version of this is utilizing and managing all resources God provides for the glory of God and the betterment of creation. So basically what it means is this church is sort of our garden, and we need to tend to the garden. And in order to have a garden, like I have a tomato garden, you got to give time, talent, and treasure. It takes time and talent. It takes blood and sweat to go out there and till in a garden. But you also have to have a tiller. You have to have a shovel. You have to have a fork. You got to go out and buy fertilizer. You got to go out and get you some lime. You got to do all the things you have to do to get a good crop. And basically, this church is each and every one of ours individual garden. So looking through these various notes that I Googled up, I found that many times these people who work in the garden are considered farmers. From the Old Testament, starting in Genesis, all the way through the Gospels and to the epistles, they talk about these farmers. So one of our recent readings that we have, I think it was in the last week or so, Timothy 2:6, it says the hard-working farmer must be the first to partake of the crops. In other words, you get the first choice of the crop. So what does that mean? Well, I'm a guy, I've got a 10 by 10 garden. That's about 100 square feet, and I plant all these various tomatoes. And some of you know I plant tomatoes, and I plant more than I can eat. I plant Homesteads, I plant Atkinsons, I plant purple ones, I plant yellow ones, German Queens. And this year I had one thing called a Mr. Stripey. The Mr. Stripey is a yellow tomato with red stripes, and the flesh is exactly the same. It's a delicious table tomato. Okay, to make a long story short, I don't think anybody with 1,000 acres or 100 acres or 50 acres or 50 square feet can make a better tomato than what I grow. And so when I get all these tomatoes and give them to my family and my friends, I, like the farmer in Timothy, I'm going to get that best tomato from me. That belongs to me. So metaphorically speaking, and as Paul talks about this farmer to Timothy, this wonderful Mr. Stripey tomato is the product of our individual hard work that we did. And I don't think the Lord cares how big your garden is, no more than this church cares how big your pledge is. We just want more farmers. The thing about it is, we have a $1.1 million budget. 70% of that is stewardship. Every year, our budget goes up a little bit more, but our church is growing. It's easy to come to church and to take the divine liturgy, have communion, but you still have to have some skin in the game to completely get what you're supposed to get out of this church. So you've got to consider the garden, that you are the farmer in the garden, and the Mr. Stripey will be the reward that the Lord gives you for doing your part. And I have total confidence we will get more farmers. 5 years ago, we had 360 people pledging. Last year, we had 315. We still have more money coming in, but we have fewer farmers. So I'm not asking anybody to give more money, because everybody I see out here are good stewards. I would say 99% of you are. But there are farmers that are not in these pews. They're your relatives. They could be your brother and sister. They could be your children, your in-laws. And we need to reach out and touch them and let them participate. Because if you do your part, and you do your part in the garden, the Lord will give you your own Mr. Stripey, and that will be your reward. So I have total confidence we're going to reach our stewardship goal this year, and I have total confidence we're going to have more pledges than we had last year. So God bless you. God bless our church. Thank you very much.